The importance of informed consent for gun ownership in marriage. Marriage is built on trust, communication, and mutual understanding. When entering into a union, full transparency about significant lifestyle choices is respectful and essential for fostering a healthy partnership. One such important disclosure is gun ownership, particularly when the husband is a collector or enthusiast. This blog explores why a wife should be informed about her husband's gun ownership before marriage, with an opportunity to provide informed consent and the rationale behind this need. Number 1. Gender disparities in gun training and comfort. Traditionally, many women are not trained to use guns. This lack of training places them at a disadvantage in a household where firearms are present. A wife who is unfamiliar or uncomfortable with firearms might feel unsafe or unequipped to handle situations involving gun use. Transparency and prior discussion about gun ownership allow her to make an informed decision about living in a home where firearms are present. 2. The potential threat to safety during conflict. In the heat of marital disputes, the presence of firearms can escalate conflicts and pose a real threat to safety. Awareness of gun ownership allows a wife to weigh the risks and consider how the presence of firearms might impact the dynamics of conflict resolution within the marriage. Ensuring both partners feel safe and secure in their shared environment is crucial. 3. The link between domestic violence and firearms. Statistics consistently show a troubling connection between firearms and domestic violence. According to research, a significant proportion of domestic violence fatalities involve firearms. When guns are easily accessible, the likelihood of a fatal outcome increases. Ensuring informed consent before marriage enables a wife to evaluate her comfort level and discuss boundaries and precautions regarding gun use and storage. 4. Power imbalance and uneven advantages. Men are generally more advantaged in gun use compared to women, especially if they have military training or extensive firearm experience. This can create an uneven power dynamic in the relationship, particularly if the wife is untrained or opposed to gun ownership. Firearms in the home can inadvertently shift the balance of power, potentially leading to feelings of vulnerability or intimidation. 5. Legal and practical concerns. During domestic disputes, when law enforcement responds to domestic violence situations, one of the first questions asked is whether firearms are present. This highlights the inherent risks guns pose in volatile situations. A wife's awareness and informed consent about gun ownership allows her to consider the legal and practical implications of living in a home with firearms, including how it might affect interactions with law enforcement. The ethical imperative of informed consent. Informed consent is not merely about legality, it's an ethical cornerstone of any equitable relationship. A wife deserves the right to understand and agree to the implications of living in a home with firearms. This transparency before marriage ensures that both partners can address concerns and establish mutually agreeable gun ownership and usage terms. Conclusion: marriage should not have hidden risks or surprises, especially safety and power dynamics. When a husband discloses his gun ownership and seeks his wife's informed consent, it reflects respect, trust, and a commitment to shared decision-making. This openness sets the foundation for a partnership where both parties feel valued and secure. Early and honest conversations are vital for couples navigating this topic to ensure a harmonious and safe relationship. How can requiring informed consent for gun ownership in marriage be analyzed and justified using the 5 stages of civilization framework? This framework views sociocultural development as a progressive integration of emotional maturity, psychological independence, and collaborative relationships within a society. Here's how the model applies. 1. Alignment with psychological independence and emotional maturity. Stage relevance. As individuals and societies progress to later stages of civilization, they strive for psychological independence and balanced relationships. Emotional maturity involves considering the needs and concerns of others, especially in intimate partnerships. Justification. Requiring informed consent for gun ownership aligns with mutual respect and shared decision-making. Couples demonstrate emotional maturity and the capacity for empathetic understanding by discussing and agreeing upon gun ownership, hallmarks of advanced developmental stages. 2. Moving beyond authoritarianism to collaborative decision-making. Stage progression. Early stages of civilization might reflect unilateral decisions where one party, often the husband in traditional setups, imposes their will. Advanced stages emphasize democratization and collaboration in political systems and personal relationships. Justification. Informed consent democratizes decisions about gun ownership, shifting from an authoritarian model, where one partner unilaterally decides, to a collaborative model, fostering equality and reducing power imbalances. 3. Balancing power dynamics in the couple stage concept. The model emphasizes that power imbalances lead to conflict and stagnation, whereas balanced dynamics promote growth and harmony. Justification. Firearms can create disproportionate power within a marriage, especially if one partner has military training or significantly more experience with guns. Informed consent ensures that both parties enter the relationship transparently, addressing potential conflicts proactively and equitably. 4. Mitigating trauma and promoting safety. Civilization and trauma. Societies at higher developmental stages prioritize mechanisms to mitigate harm and trauma. The model acknowledges the influence of collective experiences on individual and societal growth. Justification. Recognizing that firearms are often associated with domestic violence and heightened risks in conflicts, requiring informed consent acts as a safeguard. It prevents the perpetuation of trauma and promotes safety, echoing the model's emphasis on reducing harm for collective growth. 5. Integration of moral and legal justice. Stage consideration. Advanced stages in the model advocate for moral justice that reflects the collective well-being of society and individuals. Justification. Informed consent regarding firearms reflects moral justice within the microcosm of a marriage. It ensures that both partners can express their concerns and make informed decisions that align with shared values of safety and respect. Examples of parallels in real life. Legal precedents. Some jurisdictions require disclosures or agreements in financial or property matters during marriage, reflecting the importance of transparency in significant decisions. Safety protocols. Domestic violence laws and firearm restrictions in cases of restraining orders acknowledge the risks associated with gun ownership, underscoring the need for awareness and mutual agreement. Conclusion. Informed consent for gun ownership in marriage aligns with the developmental trajectory of societies as proposed in the 5 stages of civilization. It fosters psychological independence, balances power dynamics, mitigates trauma, and embodies the principles of collaborative and democratic relationships. These alignments reflect the natural evolution toward a more empathetic and equitable society.